Lower throttle up.
Who's awake? Who's awake? Not this guy. No, what's going on, everybody? How are you? You are just in time for the GPS-III SV06 launch. This is a global positioning satellite. This is the third generation space vehicle 06. It's the sixth one of the third generation. This is launching on a Falcon 9 out of Space Launch Complex 40 in Cape Canaveral. And it is launching on booster 1077, which is the second flight for this booster. Only the second flight. Only the second flight. Only the second flight. Somehow, it's the first drone ship landing this year. Somehow. Yeah. Only the second flight. Only the second flight. 15 flights. 2. So, a little bit of stat here. This is coming off a next space flight. So, this is the 2023, this is the 11th orbital attempt of 2023. Excuse me. This is SpaceX's 208th mission and their 4th mission already this year in 18 days. This is the 198th mission for Falcon 9 and the 3rd Falcon 9 mission of 2023. With that, I will put the SpaceX cast on here. We will prepare to fast forward. Preparing to fast forward. Fast forwarding, sir. Fast forward. It's pretty sludgy, Tessa. Yeah, pretty sludgy. All right. Get that teed up right there. All right, let's try it. Let's try this. It's been a little cold here the past couple of days. Oh, it's good. Does anyone know what time Starlink will launch tomorrow? Oh, another early day tomorrow, 10:23. Sweet. And then we got Electron on Monday. Very, very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Excellent. Do you go back to bed after these? Do I look like I need to go back to bed? Why are you laughing? Starlink launch might be golden hour. Too late in the day, Tessa. Oh, maybe. No, you just need a coffee. Arg Blue gets it. We need the coffee. Over here. Panther. $7:30 out of the West Coast. Let's see. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that whole time zone thing. Yeah. Might. Yeah. I was gonna say that ain't 10:20. That's not for Florida. That's
nice launch trajectory
not
countdown. That pad is clear.
Vandenberg.
9, 8,
Launch auto sequence has started.
You're looking at the picture I sent you in Discord.
2, 1.
Go for launch.
No. Casino. 26 months.
Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed. Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
Hello everyone, it's Wednesday, January 18th, and on your screen is a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 7:24 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. My name is Kate Tice, and I'm a Quality Systems Engineering Manager here at SpaceX. Welcome to our webcast coverage for the GPS-III Space Vehicle 6 mission for the United States Space Force. Today's launch will mark SpaceX's 203rd overall launch and 196th Falcon 9 mission to date.
How did we get here?
GPS, originally developed by the U.S. Air Force and formerly known as the Global Positioning System, is a constellation of orbiting satellites that provide precise position, navigation, and timing data to military and civilian users globally.
I don't know, Phil.
The U.S. Space Force continues to provide this free service to more than 4 billion users worldwide. For many of today's viewers, GPS services aren't new. If you're like me and have ever used your phone's mapping service or retrieved coordinates for a location from a pin drop, then you've received information from a satellite within this system.
Word.
Collectively, within the system's already operational satellites, the payload today will further the U.S. Space Force's ability to provide mission-critical global access, persistence, and awareness for our national security. And with that, let's take a closer look at that rocket there on your screen.
Yes.
Falcon 9 is a two-stage liquid-fueled launch vehicle and currently in position at Space Launch Complex 40. The booster supporting today's mission is flying for only the second time, previously having supported the Crew 5 mission last October, just a couple months ago. Now, if you're new to our webcasts or unfamiliar with Falcon 9, the bottom two-thirds of the vehicle is what we call the first stage. You can actually kind of see the soot markings from that previous flight that I mentioned. A little bit difficult to see through the liquid oxygen gas that's kind of venting from the vehicle at the moment. But the first stage's primary role, with the help of its 9 Merlin engines, is to accelerate the vehicle all the way to the edge of space, where it will then separate from the second stage, which carries the payload. Following stage separation, the first stage will make its way back to Earth, where we will attempt to recover it on our drone ship, which you see there. That's a shortfall of gravitas, currently located in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you turn your attention back to the section above stage 1 and that black carbon fiber inner stage, you'll see Falcon 9's second stage. About 2.5 minutes into flight, the first and second stages will separate, and the second stage will ignite its single MVAC or Merlin vacuum engine to carry the GPS-III satellite into a medium Earth orbit, or MEO. Finally, above the second stage, placed at the very top of the vehicle there, as you see, that's the nose cone structure for the payload fairing. Currently, the GPS-III payload is safely enclosed in the fairing. The two fairing halves encapsulate that satellite to protect it from aerodynamic heating, loads, and contamination during ascent. Once the fairing reaches the vacuum of space,
Engine chill has started.
we just heard the call out that engine chill for first stage has now begun. So we'll jettison those fairing halves as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. We will attempt to...
How high is medium Earth orbit, Sile? Yeah. So medium Earth orbit is basically, I think it's above 1,000. It goes above 1,000 to out to like 20,000 miles. It's actually, maybe it's 10,000. I forget. I know where the GPS satellites are going though. These things go to a it's 12,250 mile circular orbit. They are halfway. They are half geosynchronous. So it's called the semi-synchronous orbit. They have an orbital period of about 12 hours. I can show you what the GPS constellation looks like here. Let me get the bookmarks. I can pull up stuff in .space. Here we go. Check it out. That's medium Earth orbit. You can see right here, that's geo. So that's high Earth orbit. And medium is basically anything in between here to in between here. It's literally halfway in between. Low Earth orbit is obviously down there. That's GPS. 6 satellites on 6 different orbital planes. And these satellites are perfectly timed. Because GPS is all about timing. That makes a big difference. The satellites don't actually relay stuff like you'd think. They use timing between the satellite orbits to help position stuff. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah, that's GPS. I made this constellation in KSP in an old mission mode save for fun. And it clogged up the game pretty hard. But then again, that was on my old computer. Maybe we should go back to doing it. Maybe we should do some GPS missions with the shuttle. That'd be fun. Is it launched? No, sir. We are inside of 5 minutes here.
It is amazing. It looks great for launch. The range is green and also ready to support. Now, for some reason, we're unable to launch today. Our backup window is tomorrow at Thursday, January 19th at 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Once again, everything remains green for an on-time launch, 7:24 a.m. Eastern Time from Space Launch Complex 40. We're now at T-minus 4 minutes and 9 seconds until liftoff. Everything continues to be go for launch. The large structure there on your screen is the strong back. As we heard the call out that we are preparing to retract that strong back. Once open, once those clamp arms have opened, as they are now, that is able to retract fully. As Falcon 9 lifts off, the hydraulic arms will actually pull that strong back even further away in order to clear the way for ascent.
Strong back is retracted. That
strong back is part of the transporter erector, or TE, as you often hear it referred to. That TE is what we use to roll Falcon 9 out to the launch pad and raise it to the vertical launch position. It also routes the power, the fluids, and the communication to both the rocket and the satellite. So at this point in time, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. I'm expecting that first stage to wrap LOX load in 10 seconds at T-minus 3 minutes. And that
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Oh, we got finished early. So there we heard that call out. At this point, second stage is still loading the liquid oxygen onto it. It looks about 90% full at this point in time, and that will conclude at T-minus 2 minutes.
Okay, give it a second.
At that point, we will then begin to see more white clouds building around the vehicle. That's the chilled gas that rests above that liquid oxygen tank liquid surface. We vent it overboard in order to maintain pressure in the tanks as needed. So
the transporter erector moves the rocket to the pad and lifts it up. Yeah, I tell you, Bill, engineers are not good at naming things. What is that thing called? It's a transporter erector. What does it do? Transports the booster and then erects it on the pad. Thank you.
Of T-minus 2 seconds, we'll light the Merlin M1D engines for liftoff. GPS-36 continues to be healthy. Falcon 9 team tracking no issues on the rocket. Weather still looking great.
Tesla, yes.
Expecting second stage LOX load to complete. Here just momentarily.
What are these? They're lightning towers.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Okay, stand by for the T.
And there we heard that call out. So at this point in time, Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with just over, excuse me, 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and RP1. Start to see those white clouds forming as we vent the gaseous liquid oxygen there overboard.
Herbie, fully
beautiful
loaded.
day
It's
at
fully loaded.
Space.
Close up.
With LOX.
Beautiful day at the Space Coast for a rocket launch. So in 15 seconds, we'll hear the call out that F9 is in startup, indicating that the onboard flight computers have taken over the launch countdown.
Yeah, Dustin. Florida has great sunsets. Great sunsets and great sunrises.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Very pretty. Look at the color.
All right, there's that call out. At this point in time, both first.
See how cold the color gradient is? You can tell it's a little bit chillier in Florida than it usually is because the gases are the light is more.
Mission director, go for launch.
MD is go for launch. See the lights right there? See how it's more pastel than what you usually see from Florida, right? It's kind of washed out a little bit. That's how you can tell it's cold.
T-minus 30 seconds.
Sound suppression system should turn on here inside of 10 seconds. Yeah, exactly, Maz.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
sound suppression
5,
is on.
4, 3,
Green flash.
2, 1. Engines full power. And liftoff.
SV03.
Go Falcon.
The
GPS-II SV06.
Vehicle switching downrange.
Stage 1 chamber pressure is nominal.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay.
As you can see, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying the GPS-III Space Vehicle 6 payload.
Northeast.
M1D engines are about to throttle down in preparation for the maximum loads that the vehicle will experience. That'll occur just after T-minus 1 minute, known as max Q. During ascent, those M1D engines will actually swivel and help steer Falcon 9, a maneuver known as gimbaling.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Okay.
Approaching max Q now.
Might see some good atmospheric effects here. Yeah, there you go.
Max Q.
Ooh, very nice.
So at this point in time, we've now passed through that moment of maximum aerodynamic pressure.
It's cloudy out, Mutter.
As I was saying, the M1D engines will gimbal, or basically maneuver a little bit by a couple of degrees, so that the rocket autonomously tilts those engines just a little bit, a few degrees, and that gimbaling allows the vehicle to perform a gravity turn, which is when we go vertical
Engine chill has started.
as well as horizontal. So we heard the call out, MVAC chill has begun. That is the second stage preparing that MVAC engine for ignition. So in about 30 seconds, we'll have 3 events coming up in quick succession.
Looks
The
real
first
good
event
here,
will
guys.
be
I
main
don't
engine
see-
cutoff,
I'm just watching.
or
I don't see
MECO,
anything
followed
wrong here.
immediately by stage separation. And the third event being second engine start 1, or SES1 as it's written on your timeline at the bottom of the stage.
We might be able
About
to see
15
it
seconds
outside.
away from main engine cutoff. Everything looks nominal with the
I'll
vehicle.
go take a look. It was cloudy out a second ago, but I won't be able to see it until closer to SECO 1. Hey, Tech, what's going on? It's main engine cutoff right there.
MECO.
Stage separation.
Stage separation.
Upper stage ignition. Very good.
Invac ignition.
All right, and there we heard all the call outs, and you can see there on your screen,
Like
we
clockwork,
have
baby.
confirmation of successful main engine cutoff, stage separation,
Both
and
vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Ooh.
second engine start 1. And there we just heard that everything is looking nominal for both the first
nice.
and second stages.
It's a very clear day.
The view
in
on the
Florida
left is
there.
really interesting because you can see both the first stage, which is at the bottom, or excuse me, on the top, and then the second stage,
That's right.
which has ignited its engine there at the bottom. So the first stage is still coasting upward. It has not yet reached its apogee. It will, once it does, it will then come back down to Earth and begin its journey to our drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
Stand by for the fairing separation.
Next is
That
fairing
has
separation,
insulation on
which
it.
we see there. Our first view of the GPS-III payload. The view on the left-hand side of your screen is the first stage, and the second stage on the right-hand side of your screen. Now those fairings that we saw separate,
Oh, look at that. There's the
another
fairings.
cool view there on the left-hand side of your screen.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
That's the first stage.
We
and the fairings
will
are right
attempt to
there.
recover
See?
those fairing
Fairing one,
halves.
fairing two,
They are
second
flying for the
stage.
first time today.
Very nice.
And we'll attempt to retrieve them using our recovery vessel, Doug.
Doug.
We're now at T plus 4 minutes and 17 seconds into today's mission. Currently in the first of 2 planned MVAC burns for satellite deployment. In less than 2 minutes, you should be able to see the first stage entry burn on the left-hand side of your screen. We expect that to last
Nice,
about
Bob.
30
There you go.
seconds.
The fairings do
For
float
that entry
clear on,
burn,
yep.
we relight the center engine, E9, as well as 2 of the radial engines,
You saw it was
E1
nice.
and E5, so that we have a total of 3 M1D engines helping to
hoodie
slow
weather
the
down there in
vehicle
Florida,
down
right?
as it passes back.
Hoodie
over
weather.
its
So it's like 65, 60 degrees, somewhere around there.
You can also, if
That's
you watch
hoodie
carefully
weather in
on the
Florida.
left-hand side of your screen, you can see those grid fins actuating or activating
Both
I know
vehicles
that
continue
sky.
to follow nominal
Seen that sky
trajectories.
to
before.
help steer
Many
the
times.
vehicle back down to its precise
It's
landing on the
cold.
drone ship.
All right, guys.
Now the Falcon 9 supporting today's mission.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go take a look. I should be able to see it somewhere around here. So I'll go take a look, but it's cloudy out, so I'll leave you with the audio. I'll be right back.
Their lifetime. Now, while Falcon 9 makes its way back to Earth, we will be able to see that reentry burn on our screen, as I mentioned before. As whenever it was sitting on the pad prior to launch, we were able to see some of that soot left over from its previous mission. If you've ever wondered how that soot is actually formed, it's generated when the carbon-based rocket-grade kerosene, that RP1, burns, and then since the reentry occurs with the engines re-entering first, the booster basically flies right through its own plume, which then deposits the soot onto the exterior of the rocket. So we're expecting that entry burn to begin in just under 10 seconds.
Stage 1 FTS. Discovery, go at throttle up.
Everything looking nominal with the second
that's
stage.
not happening.
Stage 1, entry burn startup.
It's way too cloudy outside.
All right.
There's
we
the
have call out.
supersonic
Now you can see on the
retropropulsion.
screen that entry
Yes.
burn has begun. This will last for about 30 seconds.
It's way too cloudy, guys. There's no way.
Beautiful view
There
of
we go.
planet Earth
Falcon
in the
9 using
backdrop
its
there
engines as the
of
heat
the
shield.
second stage views
The
on the
best
right-hand
part.
side of your screen.
Stage 1, entry burn shut down.
All right, that entry burn has
Looks good.
concluded. The vehicle will continue to autonomously steer itself back to the drone ship
Both
a short.
vehicles continue to follow nominal trajectories.
The first stage will continue to steer itself back down to Earth, as I mentioned.
How many engines are burning for supersonic retropropulsion? So it fires the center engine first to reduce G load on the booster, and then it fires the two outer engines. So it fires the E1 and the E9 engine, or no, the E1, the E5, and the E9. So it's the three that go across.
2018.
Can't see the re-entry burn.
GPS payloads
Yeah,
in
neither can
2020, and another.
Guys, it's way too cloudy here. Like way too cloudy. I'll show you if it flies up the coast.
Reliability to operate even if confronted by cyber adversaries.
Stage 1 transonic.
In addition to helping with national
Stage 2
security,
has entered terminal guidance.
GPS-III also helps us. Also helps in many different aspects.
Watch,
Of our daily
Falcon's
lives.
gonna fire its engine. It's gonna punch right through these low clouds right here.
In about 10 seconds, we will be coming up on Seco 1.
Man,
Our
there's a
second
lot of
engine
aero load
cutoff,
on that booster. Look at that
and we
grid fin
will
shaking
attempt
around.
To, land
Very
on our
turbulent
drone
air.
ship, a shortfall of gravitas.
You see it bouncing around?
That drone ship is parked
Woo! Through the clouds. Here we go.
a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, come on, man!
There we just heard the call out for a second engine cutoff.
Through the clouds.
The landing with the
A little
first
bit of white
stage.
caps, a little bit of chop. Landing legs,
Landing leg deploy.
dude. Oh, she's drifting a little bit.
Stage
Oh,
1
easy,
confirmed.
easy. I never doubted you for a second.
All right, there
Yes!
we heard the call out that we have.
That was money.
That stage
Dude,
1 landing
look at
confirmed.
the drone ship. Look at how choppy the seas are. They got some white caps out there.
Weather
it's a little-
is looking
it's a little
great
choppy
all
out there.
around off the coast of Florida there. Beautiful view
Easy.
of
Yeah, see all the
that first
you
stage
can't
landing.
See, I'm in the way.
Now the mission isn't over
the vent
just
down
yet.
on the engine.
second stage is embarking on its first coast phase, which will last about 54 minutes. After the coast,
Nominal
we'll
parking orbit.
and there
Okay,
we just
got
heard
a
the call
nominal
out that we
parking
have
orbit
a
there.
Good orbit
See.
there for its second stage.
I'm right here.
So after this
I'm right on
coast,
that little
we will
hook
light
right
that
there.
MVAC engine for a second
too
time
cloudy, man.
shortly
There's
around
no-
the T plus 1 hour
can't-
and
there's no
3
chance.
minutes
And
mark.
acquisition signal, Newfoundland.
And it sucks because it seems like there hasn't been many flights up here lately. They don't fly in the Northeast. Yeah, look at how cloudy it is up there. See? I'm in this picture somewhere. Actually, I'm over there, but it's still cloudy. They're venting down the engine there. But yeah, in the wintertime, SpaceX likes launching, for instance, like Starlink satellites. They like using the Southeast Corridor because the waters are more calm up here. The North Atlantic in the wintertime is pretty fierce. Pretty fierce. So, yeah. Right when I moved here, it was pretty much the end of summer, so we didn't see much here, but yeah. They wait until the spring and the summer to use these corridors up here for drone ship landings because the water has less chop. I mean, you saw how rough that sea was where that thing landed. That's not even that far north. That's off the coast of basically North and South Carolina right there. But if you can see, like, here with the drone ship. So when it punches through the cloud right here, you see all this, see all the white caps? That means it's windy. Very windy. Yeah, and you could tell because when the booster came in, the wind blew it to the side. That's what makes that's what makes the rough waters. I mean, there's currents and stuff too, but the wind does that. See all the white caps in the water? That's and you know what the messed up thing is? In nautical terms, that's actually pretty calm. Those are pretty calm waters. I mean, you got a little bit of cap, so it's a little windy, but watch the wind blow the booster off to the side. See that? Oh my goodness. You see it go like this, just randomly go to the side? Jeez, the wind took it a little bit. Yeah, did you see the wind take that thing? Right? Here. And you can tell the wind took it, like, you could say, like, oh, it's just the gimbal, but look at it move sideways. Look at the thing, it's kind of crooked on the right shot. You see that? The wind got hit by a gust of wind. Still took it, no problem. Easy peasy. The boat props activate just before touchdown. Well, it does have azimuth thrusters on it. Oh, that's such a good shot. That's cool, Panta. Yeah, see how cloudy it is up there? There's a couple of breaks in the clouds, but yeah, you can't see it. Does the payload determine which way the rocket's going? Yeah, absolutely. So the Global Positioning Satellite Network is in a 54-degree inclined orbit. So if you picture kind of inclination in your mind, so draw a line. So look at, you have the planet. You draw a line through the equator, right? The tilt of the orbit relative to the equator is your inclination. So this is at the ascending node. So basically when you cross the equator, it's 54 degrees inclined relative to the equator. So the GPS ends up looking like this. See how these orbits, see there? I mean, that one is reading 55.93, but I know that GPS is 54. That one actually is reading 56, but yeah, doesn't matter. See what I'm talking about? You draw a line through the equator, it makes a 50-degree angle, 54, 55, or 56-degree angle. Clearly, it depends on the satellite. See, Tony, here's the thing, though. You can launch northeast, or you could wait for the planet. You could launch northeast like this, which is what SpaceX just did, and you could shoot northeast, or you could wait for the planet to spin around, and you could shoot it southeast, and you'd be going into the same orbit. Yeah. That is what the GPS network looks like. You have 6 different orbital planes, all at 54, 55 degrees inclined, somewhere around there. Actually, it could be, it's probably 55. I think I'm getting it confused with Starlink, because Starlink is 54. The ISS is 51.6. So these guys right here is 6 different orbits, all at the same inclination, but all shifted. The longitude of ascending node is shifted every 60 degrees. So you have 6 different orbits with 6 satellites. Now the orbital eccentricity and inclination is the same, but your longitude of ascending node is different, so it's shifted. And that ends up making 6 different orbits that cross each other, and it ends up looking like an atom. Yep. Now you want to see Starlink, for instance? That's Starlink. Whoa. That's so cool, dude. Those are the polar Starlink satellites. Look at that, dude. That's Starlink, man. That's cool. Dude, you don't know how much infrastructure that is. That took a lot to make that thing. It's our shield generator. I still see gaps. Dude, it's not done. Yeah. They ain't done. There's still gaps right there. There's a corridor that's missing. See it? There's another corridor that's missing. And there's another one. There's another one. And another one. And another one. Those are complete. If you see the perfect grid like that, that's completed sections. But see, they still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I found more over here. 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. And that's not even completing it. Check out those ones, though. Jeez. Still not available in Tennessee. Yeah, this is the reason why Starlink isn't available in all areas just yet. Because there's patches in the network. Why is the path not shown near the poles? They have a loss of signal through Newfoundland. They should have one through. They should have an AOS through Goonhilly here in a second. There's a tracking station in southwest UK. Show OneWeb? Sure. So SIG, the reason why there's a gap over the poles, there's the AOS through Goonhilly. The reason why they have they have a gap over the poles is because, well, long story short, there's not a lot of people up there. But SpaceX, actually, after they started making this network down here, started getting approval for polar launches, for polar Starlink, so they could access these areas up here. The reason why the majority of these don't go above this right here is because they're 54 degrees inclined. It's the same thing as GPS. The inclination of the orbit. If you have an orbit of 54 degrees inclined, you're not going over 54 north latitude, which is actually pretty interesting stuff. See, if you click on these Starlink satellites, that one's 53. These Starlink satellites never go over 54 north latitude here because they're in a 54 degree inclined orbit. Pretty weird, right? So they never go over the North and South Pole, but SpaceX has those polar satellites for that now. Where's OneWeb? It won't let me look at the entire OneWeb network. I don't have a... You could see, nope, it hates me. Yep, I killed it. Did somebody link it? You kiss of death, that site. Don't do that. I don't get Starlink. It seems like a very ineffective system to get global internet, IMO. I think there's too many disadvantages. We got Starlink in southern Norway, I think. So we get line of sight. Did you break it? Okay, there's OneWeb. Yeah, OneWeb isn't nearly as comprehensive. Thank you, username. I mean, what are you failing to understand, Sig? So Starlink is not really totally designed to... It's not designed to compete with your ISP. It never was, even though it could. It's really designed to get internet in areas where there's no internet, where the ISPs won't put internet. So if you're like, okay, I'll just give you an example because this is an example that I know. Okay, so look at this map of the US right here on stuffin.space, right? It's very clear that once you get west of the Mississippi River, so the Mississippi River is right in here, right? Once you get west of that Mississippi River, the population density goes down exponentially. So basically, from here over to here, there's not a lot of people. There's no reason for the ISPs to build any infrastructure out there, except for like maybe in Denver or in Salt Lake City, or that's... I'm not sure which one that is. That's El Paso right there. So that could be Phoenix, Las Vegas, right? There's no reason to build any infrastructure out there. Starlink is for that. There's trillions of dollars worth of revenue service out there. So like, dude, don't think about it competing with an ISP. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to give people out in the middle of the Amazon internet services for an affordable price. That's what it's designed to do. Now, Vegas is more north. That's Las Vegas up there. That's got to be Phoenix. Phoenix in Tucson, maybe? That Phoenix is a big city. It's big. It's bigger than you think. Yeah, the population basically thins pretty hard right when you get past, like... So that's Houston right there. Once you start getting over here, there's not a lot of people out there. Except Denver, Salt Lake, Phoenix. And that's about it. It's really, really small. Like, it's crazy because you could see that the only people that live out there are the people that live on the roads. So you can see the highway that connects Salt Lake City and Las Vegas right there. You could see the damn highways, which is cool. Wouldn't it be cheaper and simpler to install in situ internet service without as much overhead? America doesn't have a technical issue, just an oligopoly issue. Yeah, so, you know, so say, I mean, obviously it's that. That's why people are spending billions of dollars to buck that trend. I mean, like, how do you not see this? I'm confused. Like, I don't understand. You claim that there's an oligopoly issue, so there's problem with ISP competition in the US, and someone comes along with a solution to that problem and you say it's too complicated. You feeling all right? You feeling all right, dude? If you zoom out on the Starlink, what are the three rings at 53 degrees inclined? Those are the polar satellites, dude. They're trying to extend the coverage out to the polar areas. Starship will move Starlink V2s, Tony. Yep. Adam Duvall to the Red Sox. You got a decent outfielder there. Yeah, but we got rid of Bogarts. We got rid of Valdi, and they signed Raffy, which is good, Andrew. But I don't have much confidence in the Red Sox front office right now, homie. I don't have much confidence.
Regulation
Regulation would have been much cheaper and done more good since the issue you mentioned are very US specific.
Expected loss of signal in Goat Hilly.
I don't Sig. All right. I ain't trying to start crap here. All right, guys. I ain't trying to start. I don't think you realize how hard it is to change laws in this country. It's really difficult to do stuff like that. This is a better solution. Just you're going to have to take my word on that, man. And if you don't believe me, that's all good. That's fine. That's okay. But come on. I don't steer people wrong. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, this is supposed to buck that trend. I mean, Starlink says that it's, you know, not competing with ISPs. It absolutely is competing with ISPs. Oh yeah. It's designed, yeah, it's basically, that's what it's supposed to do. It's very disruptive technology. Even the ISP, even the internet service providers are like, no Starlink, blah, blah, blah. Dude, trust me, it's pissing them off, and that's a good thing. Trust me, you want to buck that trend, because yeah, the ISPs over here are dicks. They suck. Well, at least not where I am. I have like Verizon. Verizon's fiber connection is great. I'm always on the internet, and I don't have any problems, you know. But yeah, they won't build infrastructure out into the sticks for under like underserviced areas. And Starlink is bucking that trend, and it's forcing them to, which is hilarious to me. I think that's really funny, to be honest with you. Alice Springs is a pretty good example of the viability of Starlink. It's in the literal center of Australia, surrounded by massive amounts of deserts. In a nation where most of the population lives on the coast. Yeah, there you go, Tip. Right on. How much minimum delta V to orbit Earth in real life? You need about 9,600 meters a second erudite to get anything useful into space. It's well over double what you need in KSP. How did launch go? Everything's good. Stage 2 with GPS is in a parking orbit right now, AP. It's currently flying over the Black Sea. Yeah, Triceratops. Dude, I have a fiber. I have a Verizon fiber optic connection. It's amazing, and I don't pay that much for it. It's not as much as you think, which is good. Which is good. I mean, Sig, you know, that's one more thing, dude. We have 50 states, dude, and each state has its own laws about how ISPs work. So you're gonna have to change the law 50 times in 50 states. You know what I mean? There's no like. There is federal oversight over it, but it's not yet. You'd have to change it 50 times. That benefits the ISPs, unfortunately. But I'm not trading it. I wouldn't want to do that. You pay $99 a month for 100 down, 20 up. AP, I pay the same amount of money for 1,000. 1,000 down, 1,000 up. Do you know how Starlink will be when it's finished? I read some articles about it having some performance issues. Don't know how it is now. Nah, I'm not sure, dude. Yeah. Yes, Beardy Branson, Tessa. I pay about the same as you, dude. Yeah, welcome to Straya. Might as well use smoke signals. Jeez. Sorry if the question is annoying, but I'm on the fence on 5G because some say it's fine, but some say it's bad. Hold on. Hold on a second. That's not bad, G4. Yeah.
So at this time, Pad 1 is going to do perimeter sweeps with your LT.
Never heard that before. They were doing perimeter sweeps on pad 40? Interesting. Interesting. It's 100, 0 euros here in Finland. Well, yeah, you pay for that in other ways though, dude. You were on AP, you're still using DSL in 2016. Damn, man. You know, I'm not stating anything obvious here, but anything that's not obvious, but damn, that sucks. But, yeah, but XB Falcon. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You drive a hard bargain, man. It's MEO. It's MEO acting. Medium Earth orbit. So this thing is going to shoot off into a 12,000 by 12,000 circularized orbit at 55 incline. So it looks like that. So it's 12,000. It's 20,000 by 20,000 kilometers, give or take. Do you use your own router? You can. I have Verizon's, but you can use your own. Oh, that's a good one, I. That's correct, Sith. Yeah, yeah. As long as you have the ONT, it doesn't really matter. There was a point in 2018 where our internet was so bad, my games were updating in bytes per second. Damn, dude. Yikes. Your average internet is 4 to 6 megabytes per second. Well, there's clearly a need for Starlink, guys, because some of you guys have terrible internet connections. No offense. Jeez. Holy crap. That's awful. Yeah, dead scum. That sucks, dude. Buy Starlink, dude. Buck that trend. That's what Starlink's supposed to do. It took 4 to 5 days to download Counter-Strike Go. You play Counter-Strike, Erudite? Nice. I know I mentioned it before, but Starlink is going to be massive for in-flight internet. My Wi-Fi bill for the corporate jets is $36,000. $36,000 a month for the... Okay. $100 for 75 in Nora, which is 1/3 more than the competition, but my landlord picked the service. Interesting, Sig. Guys, I'll be honest with you. You could call this an astute observation. I'm noticing a pattern here. It really doesn't matter what country you're in. There seems to be one unifying reason why we all have crappy internet. I think I'm starting to see the reason there. Okay. I'm starting to notice a pattern here, AP. Which is twice what's in Sweden. Yeah, no, Sig, I know that Norway has really good internet. Sick. Nice. Infrastructure is damn expensive, yeah. Yeah, it is, yep. Yeah, dead scum for sure, right? $33 down, 15 up, $19.99 a month. Could be worse. It's not the worst I've seen, Alucard, to be honest with you. I miss the dial-up days when you could select which ISP you connected to. So Spenno over here where you have hundreds of kilometers between towns. Yeah, dude, AP, that's the problem that we have out west. I don't think anywhere in the U.S. gets as sparse as the Outback does, right? Like, I know, dude, once you get out to Woomera, you just... There is nothing. Like, nothing. I would imagine it's something like something like Alaska. There's nothing in Alaska. Nothing but oil infrastructure, and then a couple of cities here and there, and that's about it. There is absolutely nothing out there. And then there's Townsville, and that's about it. The only reason why I got Starlink as a backup was unlimited data usage, but when they added that 1 terabyte monthly cap, it kind of soured you. Oh. Oop. It's time to wake up. You're in Townsville, Greg? Damn, dude. That's the sticks, homie. I'm amazed you have an internet connection. I know people that have fiber in Sitka, Juneau, and Anchorage. Right on. In Italy, 100 down, 100 up costs €45 a month. 100 down, 10 up, though, Razzie? Damn. Townsville is a city in the middle of Australia. I think they gave up on the name. Ah, frick, man, we're in the middle of nowhere. What should we call this place? Ah, frick it, call it Townsville. Where's the beer? Frick it, mate. Call it Townsville. I don't care. Yeah, AP, there is nothing. Yeah, it's way less dense than the Yeah, okay. 36 people per kilometer squared. In Australia, it's 3.3. Okay, yep. It's pretty good, Magic. All right, cool. I've been practicing. Well, that's good, I guess. You have Texas in Queensland? Huh. Can we have, Mom, can we have Texas? No, we have Texas at home! Texas at home.
Acquisition of signal, Maldives.
We got an AOS through the Maldives. 1,000 in Denmark for 40. That's actually not bad, Diz. Yeah, AP. That sounds a lot like the American West. I mean, but with less people. Like, AP, I don't know if you saw, like, during Route 154 when we were going through Cajon Pass, right? Like, in California, like, I don't know if you remember where when the fuel filter conked out in the truck and I replaced it. That was at the edge of civilization, and then it was nothing, like literally nothing until Las Vegas. And there were like a couple of towns. There was like Victorville, and a couple of towns, and those towns are like maybe, I don't know, 100, 200 houses at best, and just with a street going through it, you know? I'm attempting to figure out our orbit direction. This orbit right here, it's 55 degrees inclined. They're in a parking orbit right now. Yeah, AP, like that blew my mind, dude, because I'm not from the country, man. I'm from out in the city. I'm from in the city. There's people everywhere. There's people everywhere all the time. 24 hours a day. Right? It's screwed with me. Like, one thing that got me, dude, is how quiet it is. It's very strange. Like, we stopped in Monument Valley during that road trip, and we didn't have any connection because there's nothing out there. We had no internet, right? Bree and I, there was nothing out there, and I couldn't believe it. We got out of the truck on this road that was straight as an arrow in Monument Valley, and it was quiet, like, nice. It was excellent. All you could hear, there was rain off in the distance, and all you could hear was just the rain hitting the ground. It was weird, man. It screwed with me for a second. I'm like, this isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. This isn't right. And then I'm like, you're in the desert, in the middle of nowhere. Yes, this is correct, EJ. Come on. Dude, it was strange. I was not, like, out of all the things that I expected in the, being out in the desert, that's the one that got me. Not the sand, not the lack of life, at the surface level. I know the desert is a thriving ecosystem. Not the big giant rocks that are jutting out of the ground. Nope. It's quiet. It's very strange. Did you hear your own blood pumping? Sig, I might as well. If there wasn't rain in the distance that I could hear, rain in the distance that you could hear, it was not near us. It was not raining where we were, but you could hear it. Strangest thing I've ever heard, man. It was maybe a kilometer away. I could hear it. It was weird, dude. It was weird. Something about being out in the middle of nowhere like that. I see why people like that. That's just, there's nobody around. Just leave me alone. I dig it. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, One Eye. It's pretty sweet. So we were out in the Native American reservations in Monument Valley. There's nothing there. There's nothing. Yeah. Electron, don't. This isn't a horror movie. Great for watching stars. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, right, Havocs? Oh, it's crazy. Gotta get back to these F-18s. Have a great day. Debo, what do you do? You can't just drop that in here, man, and not tell me. You know I'm plane crazy. Come on, man. We still got snow, Thorn, yeah. Mechanic, I'd imagine. What a tease! Yeah, God, it really gets very, very sparse once you get out there. No, guys, Debo worked at SpaceX. He worked on Falcon 9s, and then he changed jobs after that. But this was not the last job that he told me he had. He just casually just flexes on us and leaves. That's pretty funny. You're working on Super Hornets. That's cool. Right on, man. Deeves, last time I was talking to you, dude, you were messing with cranes. What? You don't need to tell me here. What changed, dude? I gotta keep up, man. I did one eye. Yeah, when we were out in New Mexico, Brimo and I, during Route 154, we were out in New Mexico. We were driving towards Albuquerque. I literally saw the dome of light pollution. It's very strange, dude. Like, once again, I'm not from the country, dude. I'm from in the city. I grew up having at least a person within 20 feet of me pretty much at all times. To be out in a desert like that, I'm like, this is not... Okay. 4 to 6 megabytes per second with daily internet cutouts. I pay $2.40 a month. Am I getting scammed? I guess from what I've heard, Erudite here, it really depends on where you are.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, AP. G! 18-month resub. Warning headphone users at the very start. I'm only leaving this up for a minute or two. You're only leaving this up for a minute or two. Okay, headphone users. Headphone users. Seriously, you've been warned. There's the thunder. Hear that paper tearing noise? That's what rockets sound like, man. All right, goalie, we gotta see it. We gotta see it. Hold on. I gotta show them this. I gotta show them it. All right, fellas. You're awfully close. Gets me fired up every time, dude. I love that noise. I love it. I could listen to that all day. I could listen to that rumble like that all day, dude. Holy crap. That's a lot of air turbulence. Was goalie underneath it? Let's just say goalie has a privileged job and we'll leave it at that. Oh, casually in the back of class getting your ears blown out, Andrew. Andrew, I swear if you are in school right now watching this stream, I'm gonna be pissed. Pay attention, douchebag. Don't do what I did and play video games all day. You'll end up messing with fake rockets all day instead of messing with real ones. Trust me on this, dude. I'm speaking from experience here. Turn that thing off and pay attention. Damn, man. Yeah, MP, it wouldn't work. It's 3D design. I'm done designing my dragster. Well, make it better. Damn, man. Make the dragster better. If you say you can't improve something on that design, I'm gonna slap you over the internet. I will slap you, and I got a big hand. A 5-star hurts for me, okay? You know the 5-star. You know what I'm talking about? Is that a thing that kids still do? 5-starring somebody, where you slap somebody like this with your fingers open? Ah, that hurts, man. That's not a thing that kids do anymore, is it? I will 5-star, like whack, really hard. I got a big hand, man. You don't want it. You don't want none of this. I've been told that I'm over-engineering it and that'll be harder to make. Well, then under-engineer it and make it better. That was called a tango when you were a kid. All right, all right, all right, all right. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! Seriously, that goes for anybody else. If you're watching the stream and you're in class right now, I am calling you out. You don't know how taboo it is for a streamer to call out lurkers. If you're watching this in school right now, shut that off and pay attention, or I will shut the stream off. And now, don't get me wrong, I know. The kids are like, haha, EJ, you shut the stream off. I'm just going to watch somebody else. The only person you're hurting is you! You're still going to watch, though. Andrew, I swear to God, man. Swear to God, dude. Swear to God. Difference was to use both hands. Charlie Murphy. 5-star 80s UK band. Nice. UK 80s band. Alright, cool. Dana White is appearing on Slap Fight tonight. Awesome. Bro, I just told the teacher to put you on the big screen. Seriously, though. Pay attention at school. It doesn't matter if you don't need this later. Don't you get it? It doesn't matter if you don't need this later. I know. Some people don't have a use for trigonometry or U.S. history or something. Trust me. Trust me. It's not about that. This is just static to make sure that you know what you're doing. Okay? Trust me on this one. I played Counter-Strike all day during high school and did not learn a thing. And I barely passed, and that did not get me very far. Especially if I, suddenly decide that I want to go mess with rockets. That doesn't get you very far. Not learning the, math and the science, that's important. You need to do that. Is it bad if you're listening and watching at work? Oh, Slubman, I don't care if you're watching at work. You're an adult. Figure it out. Who would do that? You gotta talk to your son. Smart, yeah, trust me, dude. We all can't be B-list Twitch streamers here, you know what I'm saying, dude? I was the same, but with Halo 1. Oh, I played that game so much, dude. Wait, AP, did you play Halo 1 on the GameSpy tunnel before Xbox Live came out? There was a hosting service through GameSpy called GS Tunnel, and you could play Halo 1 on the internet. Dude, I may have played with you. Straight up, dude. Yeah. You're totally on point. Yeah, Agent, that's something that you got. Dude, I wish somebody had told me that. And you know what? You know what the messed up part is, Smart? Somebody probably did tell me that, but they didn't tell me like this. They didn't yell in my face. You gotta get through. How do I reach these kids? You have to get through. If you don't get through, it'll just bounce off and they'll be like, yeah, I know more than you. Because kids do that. That's what they do. That's what I did. Yeah, Jim, GameSpy. GS Tunnel, dude. I played Halo 1 on GameSpy Tunnel. Halo 1 over the internet, dude. Yeah, Kongler, right? There you go. Don't sell yourself short, man. You're A tier? I don't think so, Creeper. If I was A tier, I'd be getting 50,000 viewers. You probably made some tea with your dad. You probably did, dude. That used to piss me off so much, dude. I would never say it, but that used to piss me off so much. I'd be like, I hate this guy. I hate you so much. Oh, good game, man. Yeah, that was great. You really shot me in the face. Oh, I hate this piece of shit. Yeah, no, that was awesome, man. Great shot, you mother. And I'm not sorry. 50,000 viewer streams are absolute garbo. Yeah. Hey, EJ, I hate you, you stupid piece. Oh, hey, man. Yeah, that was a great game. Click off this. This guy sucks. I'm better than you. You suck. You cheap son of a... You just used the pistol all day, you wuss. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, great. You're really good with that pistol. You son of a bitch. Sorry. Pistols on Blood Gulch 1v1. You... AP, I hated that pistol so much that I went and played Halo 1 on Legendary, right? And you know the Flood, the combat form Flood? How they have the assault rifles and they do the dug 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 with the assault rifle and it kills you instantly? I hated that pistol so much and I thought it was so stupid that I went and studied the combat form burst fire with the assault rifle, and I could pistol snipe people with the assault rifle out of spite. I was so mad. I hated the pistol so much. I hated that thing. I'm like, it's 50 AE and it can shoot 1,000 yards? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why does it have a scope on it? This thing sucks. Give me the assault rifle. So I would do what the Flood did on Legendary and just use that 1 to 3 shot. And dude, you could mess people up so much. Have you ever made anything cool in Inventor? It's what I'm getting your certification in right now. No, never, Andrew. No, I've used Maya in the past, which is similar, so I could probably figure out Inventor, but yeah. Thought you'd been streaming all night. No. Thoughts on Cursed Halo. I don't know what that means. And you know, AP, the funny thing is that I hated the pistol in Halo 1, but I would combo people. I would noob combo people so hard in Halo 2. They get so mad. Oh, VR plasma pistol, dude. Oh, I comboed the crap out of people. That made people so angry. Yeah, Scotty, I know, right? So, guys, we're almost coming up to second stage engine start here. Combo with 50, the Desert Eagle and UMP in Counter-Strike, Maverick? No scope headshots. Dude, wait, Maverick, in Counter-Strike Source or Counter-Strike Go? Because if you're going around in Counter-Strike Go with a UMP, you're a hero. If you're doing it in Source, you're a legend. The UMP was tough to use in Counter-Strike Source, man. Yeah, that's right, Tessa. Mandatory proximity chat. Oh, God. Dude, it was wild, man. It was wild. Halo Xbox LAN parties are the golden years of gaming. That was fun. Fun times, dude. Everybody lugging around the CRT monitors all over the place. I wasn't Cal O for nothing. You were O. That's cool, man. I made it to IM and then one season in Maine, dude. And then I stopped. Okay, right now the second stage is off the coast of, looks like, say it's about 1,000 Ks off the coast of Perth. We should get an AOS through Tasmania here. SpaceX has a ground station in, what's the city in Tasmania? Aussie Bros. Hobart, right? Hobart? That sounds right. Yeah, okay, cool. Right on. AP, alright. Launceston? Is that how you say that? Yeah, nailed it. Alright, cool. Yeah, see? You have to revert to that old English way of saying that. We have cities like that too that have that CES in there in the middle of the name. The CES is just it's just S. Remember the vehicles in CS? There was a Jeep. I do, one eye. The first Counter-Strike that I played, because once again, didn't pay attention in school, played Counter-Strike and other games all day. I started playing Counter-Strike in 1.5, dude. Pre-Riot Shield. I downloaded it as a mod for Half-Life. And then I bought CS 1.6 retail. With the damn Riot Shield, which I thought was stupid. I started playing first-person shooters at an extremely young age. The reason why is because my neighbor down the street, who was 4 years older than me, and that guy works for like Google or Salesforce or something now. The guy's a freaking millionaire. He gave me, in 1997, my neighbor down the street gave me a copy that he burned off a CD. Oh my God, I know you wouldn't download a car. I was like 10. I didn't understand the difference. My neighbor gave me a copy of Star Siege Tribes. And he's like, put this in your computer and play it. It's better than N64 games. That guy was absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's when the rabbit hole began. I was like, no, but GoldenEye's awesome. And he's like, no. Frick GoldenEye. I mean, you joined the army in 97. I was 9 in 1997. Yeah. Had to give me giving a 9-year-old a copy of Tribes. And it's so funny, dude. I would always try to sell my parents on why video games are like, oh, look, I immediately started tinkering with Tribes, and I started making levels and stuff for it. Good times, dude. Yeah. That opened up the rabbit hole. I remember when Steam came out. When Steam came out, I was like, what? What is this? I don't want Steam. I just want to play Counter-Strike. What is this Steam? This is stupid. Give me Counter-Strike. Why are you installing Steam? What is this? There you go, One Eye. Awesome.
Acquisition of signal, Tasmania.
I just want to play Half-Life 2. Yeah. I was like, what is Steam? This isn't Half-Life. Oh, there was the AOS 3 Tasmania right there. AOS 3 Tasmania. Yeah, I thought Steam was stupid too, dude, but man, turns out the Gaben really knows what's up. Yeah, Spraz, that's exactly what happened. I'm like, I don't want Steam. Damn it, what is this? Yeah, Ernok, I didn't grow up with the original StarCraft. I ended up playing Brood War in high school. Don't hurt me, but I never played Half-Life 1 or 2. I have them, but I've never played them. AP, I'm not going to be outraged because I can't stand people that do that. Oh my God, you've never done this? What are you, stupid? No. Dude, Half-Life 1 and 2 are probably some of the best first-person story shooters ever made. Like, ever made. It's Halo... dude, the story is Halo good. Yeah, it's that good. Oh, yeah. So, you... Okay. Alright. We should be coming up on staging, or on the SES2 and Seco 2 here. Okay. AP, you remember playing Halo 1, and you remember the mission 343 Guilty Spark, and you were scared out of your freaking mind when you went into the cave, and Master Chief picks up the headset, and you were... Half-Life is that good. That good. In fact, Halo probably took some cues from it, if I had to guess. 1 and 2 are that good. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one, dude. I wouldn't steer you wrong. If you get a chance, go and play it. In fact, play Black Mesa. Black Mesa is a updated graphics mod for Half-Life 1. Black Mesa and Half-Life 2. Trust me. Play them. It's some of the best stories around, dude. It doesn't get better storytelling than that. Are we going to get a Half-Life and Half-Life 2 stream? Maybe. The hardest mission ever made would be the COD 4 airplane mission on the hardest level. Yeah. I've watched an entire playthrough of Alex Pigzig. I watched Jacksepticeye's playthrough. I do have Half-Life Alex, but yeah, I just never got around to playing it. They're outgassing because they're chilling down the engine to get ready for a second stage firing here. Yeah, exactly, Falco. Exactly. Games like that up until that point were like Doom, where it's just run and gun. Half-Life put a story to it. It felt like you were in a freaking action movie, dude. I believe that, goalie. People still play Half-Life Online free-for-all. Nice. StarCraft Command & Conquer with some Rainbow Six Ghost Recon, BF2 all the time. Ugh. Those games are so good, Spaceflight. Part of me is like, maybe we should... In the back of my mind, dude, like, I would love to do rockets, but also in the back of my mind, I would like to just make a game like that. Just make a good old school game. I think I know enough people to actually hook that up, but... They stuck the first stage, Cherokee. Actually, dude, I'll show you. They landed in some chop, and there was a gust of wind that blew the thing off kilter. Here, I'll show you real quick. Because we're basically coming up on... Oh, no. All right, hold on. I want to see a second engine start, then I'll show you.
GPS-III Space Vehicle 6 for the U.S. Space Force.
We've
had a nominal mission so far. Falcon 9 lifted off on time from 7:24 a.m. Eastern Time from Cape Canaveral's Space Launch Complex 40. The second stage completed its first burn, placing the Falcon 9 and GPS payload in the desired parking orbit. We're now coming up on the second burn of that second stage MVAC engine.
There we go, second stage ignition.
All right, we can see on screen.
Restart ignition.
And heard the call out there
Everything looks good.
That burn has commenced, and it's planned to last for about 45 seconds. So wrapping up at T plus 1 hour, 4 minutes, and around 17 seconds.
Oh, really, Vasia? Oh, no. Okay, everything looks good.
Everything looking nominal so far.
I just said that, Kate.
This second engine start too.
Stop copying me. Okay. Seco 2.
MVAC shutdown.
Stand by for the call for NOI.
And saw on screen that second engine start, or excuse me, second engine cutoff.
Nominal transfer orbit.
Occurred, and there we just heard
good call on the
news
transfer
that we were
orbit.
waiting for, confirmation of good orbit. So at this point in time, the GPS-III 6 satellite is still attached to that second stage. Payload deployment is scheduled to occur around the T plus 1 hour and 29-minute mark. So one more coast phase for you, but we'll see you back here in 24 minutes. Stay tuned.
All right. So here, Cherokee, let me show you the landing. That was good second stage engine start and second stage ignition, or second stage engine cutoff. And now they're purging out the engine. What they do there, that vent that's spewing all that solid oxygen everywhere, guys, is after they fire the engine, you don't want the engine to rust from the inside out. Now, what do you mean rust from the inside out? Well, there's this thing about liquid oxygen. It oxidizes things. And if you think the air makes things rust, liquid oxygen really makes things rust. You don't want to rust the engine out from the inside. So what they do is they purge out the engine with helium, and you can see they're getting all the liquid oxygen out of the system. And the liquid oxygen, interestingly enough, when it goes out the vent, it immediately solidifies as the temperature drops to nothing, right? And it stays in a solid state until it kind of gets heated up by the sun. But you see some gas coming out of there too, right? That gas is the remaining liquid oxygen in the system, but it's also helium. They shoot helium through the engine and they purge it all out. You could see, yeah, that solid oxygen came off there. And see all these flakes that are floating around on the screen? You can see one right there. That's just all the solid oxygen that's coming out of the motor, because they're purging it down because they don't want it to rust. It's a good idea, Sirius. All right, Range. See you, buddy. So here, Cherokee, check this landing out. This thing gets hit with a wind gust right before it lands.
Vehicle 6
Watch this.
in 2021.
Transonic.
In addition to helping
All right.
with national.
So I noticed that this was an extremely turbulent landing. Watch the right-hand grid fin. Look at how much it's moving. Now, don't get me wrong. The grid fins move around a lot, but this thing is really shaking. That's indicating turbulent air, so it's very windy. We did not lose the booster, Maverick. No. Watch this landing. It's unreal. See how much that grid fin's shaking? Now, like I said, don't get me wrong. All the grid fins shake when they come back down. They're handling a tremendous aerodynamic load right there. Now, watch this. It punches through the clouds, and so you can see the ocean has white caps, so it's a little choppy, right? Now, watch right when it lands. Watch it get blown by a wind gust. Ready? Whoop! See that? See that? See it move all the way to the left? Dude, that thing got hit with a big gust of wind right when it landed. You see that? And then it's still stuck it. Falcon's like, yeah, whatever. Like you'll see it right after the landing leg's deployed. The drone ship goes like this. It goes that way. Watch, right there. Big gust of wind. Right when it touched down. And it compensated for it, which is pretty crazy. Like, I know it doesn't look like much. Okay, it moved a little bit to the one side, right? You could tell it's a little bit off center from the X. I would like to remind everybody that wind gust was strong enough to move a rocket that's 150 feet tall. It's about 50 meters tall. It's a 15-story building. And it was just, that wind gust was powerful enough to just move the thing. Yeah, don't screw with the ocean. You see it just kind of go whoop, kind of just translated all the way to one side. Is that crazy? That was the coolest part of this mission, to be honest with you. Falcon 9 got hit with a wind gust, it didn't care. It was just like, nah, all right. Do you think the winds would be an issue for Starlink landings due to it being as big and wider? Serious? I have a theory about that. This is one of EJ's stupid theories, right? Like, but if you look, right? If you look, so I've always said that I think Super Heavy is going to come down with a little bit of momentum, meaning it's going to come down with lateral momentum. So like if these are the catch arms, right? Super Heavy isn't going to come straight down into the catching arms. It's going to kind of go a little bit sideways like this, right? Or come in like this and then level out over the catching arms. But you know that the catching arms on the tower can do this. They can turn, right? So you could be over the pad, it could turn to the left, or it could turn to the right. I think they're going to use that for windage. Think about it. Just like a runway, you'd want to land into a headwind. They can turn the chopsticks, right? They can turn the chopsticks to the azimuth, to the right azimuth to get a headwind. Now, if you think about it, the chopsticks can almost do 180 degrees. If the chopsticks can almost do 180 degrees, it's probably about 120 degree change, right? If they can almost do that, that's enough to compensate for most wind directions, right? 180 degrees is all you need to compensate for pretty much any wind direction. I mean, obviously you'd want 360 degrees, right? But 180 degrees is good enough to where they would be able to compensate. And once again, I think the momentum from the booster could easily just cut right through the wind, and which is why I think Super Heavy is going to come down like this. Not exactly straight down, but close. Just enough to carry some lateral momentum to dampen out the forces from the wind. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But an instant gust. Well, there's no guarantees, goalie, but Super Heavy has a lot of mass, man. That is a heavy bit of mass. You're going to need a fair bit of wind to move that thing. But I think they'll be able to turn the chopsticks to the right azimuth to be able to catch the booster. But who knows? Could be wrong. I'm really skeptical about Starship's landing scenario. I mean, fellas, the thing is that, yeah, Of course it's skeptical. Of course, I mean, like, you should carry a good amount of healthy skepticism, Cherokee. Like, I don't get mad when people say, yeah, I don't think that's going to work, because, like, look at that. Has anyone ever tried to do anything like that before? No. I think skepticism is healthy in this particular case, but I also think at the same time that if anybody can do it, SpaceX could do it, because they made that happen. See what I'm saying? Like, that's not easy to do. That thing right there is 15 stories tall. Like, it's not easy to make that thing come down and land. That is a very complicated choreography and sequence of events to do. Even just with, like, SN15 right there. Trust me, guys, try to do it in KSP where most of the math is done for you. It's really, really tough. So I think that the skepticism is very, very healthy in this regard. No one's ever done anything like this. Yeah, I know, and I'm no SpaceX engineer. They broke the mold, so let's see them do it again. Indeed. Indeed. Still looks like... Yeah, no, Vasi, I don't blame you. That looks very strange. Dude, I'm telling you, even seeing a rocket come back down and land. I've seen Falcon 9s land. I saw the first one land, and I saw the first Falcon Heavy land. It is strange. It is strange to see that thing come back down. It's very weird. Ask anyone that's seen an RTLS. It doesn't look right. Something about it is very uncanny. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not trying to suggest it's anything stupid. What I am trying to suggest is that no one's ever landed a rocket before, so it's not something we're used to seeing. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know? It's very weird looking, seeing that first stage come back down and land. You're just like, what's it do? Oh, God, it's coming at us. Okay, no, it landed. What the hell? It's very strange to see it, man. The last 4 years have been epic. Yep. Yeah, you watch Sentinel-6. Dude, the Sentinel-6 landing was nuts because Polar RTLS. Grab Shark. It's freaking wild, dude. SpaceX uses holograms, EJ confirmed. Elon is a reptile. Wait, what? Sorry. I was at the Falcon Heavy launch the other day. My mind was boggled watching it from the beach. Seeing the boosters come in, dude, it's the strangest thing. It doesn't look... It looks weird. It probably looks as weird to us as somebody seeing an airplane for the first time, like 100 years ago. Or somebody seeing a car for the first time. Like, how is that wagon moving without people? Without horses and people? What's going on here? Like, it's probably that strange. You know what I mean? Like, guys, we're not really used to seeing new stuff like that, right? You know, we grew up where, you know, like, we already figured out jet engines. And you already figured out, you know, how to send people to the moon. Nobody figured out how to land one of those freaking things, you know, except for the SRB splashdown and obviously the space shuttle, right? Like, it's very strange. It's the devil. Because Falcon 9 is the devil. I forbid you to watch those Falcon 9 landings. They're the devil. It's not the devil. It's the most beautiful rocket in the world. Oh, please don't hurt me. Hike. Good reference, Action Tech. Good reference. Yeah, there you go, Tessa. It's like seeing a DeLorean in 1885. Yeah. Right, spaceflight? For sure. If rocket landings are wrong, I don't want to be right. Well said. Well said. Coffee. I've had my coffee and it's taken effect. Does it show? I got near me as a DeLorean. I often see it in the supermarket car parking lot. Still looks cool. DeLorean's a great shape, dude. It's a shame. It's a shame that has that PRV engine in it, dude. I see. You know what, Impy? You know what the crazy thing is? The DeLorean is on a Lotus Elise or a Lotus Esprit chassis. It's a Lotus chassis, right? And I've seen people do the conversion for a Lotus Elise engine, and it'll bolt in, which is kind of weird, right? It'll bolt in because it's the same chassis, right? And the DeLorean with the Lotus engine in it, now that car hauls. Have you seen the new DeLorean concept at CES? I saw it one eye. I see what they were trying to do. I don't know. The DeLorean has become such a cult classic. I don't know if it can be replicated. Can you imagine the DeLorean with a Honda NSX V6? It wouldn't, Tessa, you'd need to do some significant mods. The DeLorean doesn't have a transverse rear, it's rear engine, like a Porsche, or Porsche. The NSX motor is mid-engine transverse. The DeLorean engine is longitudinal rear. So you'd need to do some serious modification, but it would be sick. That would be really cool. Everyone forgets about Apollo 11 when talking about propulsive landings. Yeah, Caden, that's true. You know what the funny thing is? Falcon 9's Merlin engines can trace their roots right back to the lunar module descent motor. True story. They're in the same family tree. That's right. The Merlin engine can trace its roots right to the Apollo lunar lander. Interesting, right? So how about putting in a Boxer engine? Now we're talking. I was thinking a Porsche motor or the Lotus. Lotus is rear engine V8. Yeah, that's right. So the Merlin engine can trace its roots right back to the Lunar Module Descent Engine, the LMDE, which is the motor that they use to land on the moon. It's in the same family tree of motors. The reason why is because of the injector plate. The injector plate is not a direct copy of the Lunar Module Descent motor's injector, but it's damn close. Not sure I caught you if you said something. What's the thrust of a single Starship engine? 2,400 kilonewtons, Maverick. Just K-swap the NSX? Dude, an NSX with a turboed K24 would... Dude, frick the purity. That thing would haul. What's the thrust of a single Starship engine? Well, it's... Maverick, that's a Raptor. The Raptor motor is 2,400 kilonewtons of thrust. Yep. About 500,000 pounds. Yeah, serious. That probably hauls. Can you imagine? That motor is so much lighter and it makes more power than the original NSX motor. It's got the original NSX has a J series. It has a J series V6 in it. The J series V6 is, I mean, they're good. And don't get me wrong, the one they put in the NSX is good because they gave it like dual overhead cams. They give it VTEC on both intake and exhaust, so it hauls, but a K24 with a turbo and modern engine tuning can make like double the power of that thing. Are they the same as on Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy? No, Maverick. No. You're comparing a diesel motor to a gasoline motor. No. The Merlin engines on Falcon 9 use kerosene and liquid oxygen. They're what's called a semi-cryogenic motor. So the LOX is cold. But kerosene is just kerosene. It uses Jet A. It's the same fuel that they put in like A320s and 737s. It's the same thing. Only it's dyed red. It looks like forbidden fruit punch. Want to see? Don't drink the forbidden fruit punch. K24 with ITBs in an NSX AP. I'm in, dude. That'd be sick. That's what it looks like. So if you tried to put that into a Raptor engine, the Raptor engine would blow up. It's literally putting gasoline in a diesel motor. The engine uses different propellants, and because it uses different propellants, like I said, the only thing that really likes to go inside of an engine that's designed to take kerosene and liquid oxygen is kerosene and liquid oxygen. You put anything else in there, the engine doesn't work correctly. and that usually results in an explosion. So yeah, forbidden fuel punch. The forbidden fruit punch, that's fuel. They dye, okay, so if people are wondering, they dye RP1 red so you can see it. So you know that it's rocket fuel and not just kerosene. They dye it on purpose. So that's what a Merlin engine uses. It uses basically a really refined version of jet fuel. It's closer to kerosene. But kerosene, jet fuel, and diesel fuel are kind of all in the same family of hydrocarbons, which is weird. Like, that's right in the center of like the hydrocarbon family. On this far side over here, there's gasoline. Gasoline is like the redheaded stepchild of hydrocarbons, which is funny. And then over here you have like bunker C. Bunker C is like if you took pudding and tried to make it into oil. Bunker C is very, very energy intense, so it burns really freaking hot, but it's also very inefficient. But it burns really hot, so because it burns really hot and releases a ton of energy, it does make sense in certain applications. But yeah, like diesel, kerosene, Jet A, JP5, JP8, and RP1 are kind of all in the same family. That's like right in the middle of the spectrum of hydrocarbons. More or less. I mean, I'm not a petroleum engineer by any means, you know. But going back to like a Merlin engine, dude. So the Merlin engine uses kerosene and liquid oxygen, right? Raptor also uses liquid oxygen, but you're using liquid methane now. Liquid methane is technically a hydrocarbon, but it's not like oil. It's CH.
Signal Hawaii.
They have AOS through Hawaii, but it's not. It like if you look at the chemical composition of methane, it's carbon with 4 hydrogen attached to it. So it's a hydrocarbon, but it's really not. I mean, you wouldn't really call it that, especially because methane exists as a gas down here more than anything. But so Raptor uses that methane, and the reason why it uses the methane is because methane is fully cryogenic. And because it's fully cryogenic and it's a much simpler chemical makeup than a hydrocarbon, so you have C and 4 H's around it, so CH4, it's easier to handle for a fully cryogenic propellant.
Acquisition of signal Vandenberg.
They have AOS through Vandenberg. Cool. It's easier to handle, but you do get more performance out of it because it's colder. Yeah. So if you tried to put like CH4 in a Merlin engine, it would also explode. It wouldn't work right, like putting gasoline in a diesel motor. So the engines are not in the same family tree. Like the Merlin family of engines, dude, can trace its roots to the lunar module descent motor. Raptor can trace its roots back to the Air Force test program. It's an Air Force test project. It's an AFRL test project from the mid-2000s called the Integrated Powerhead. So the Integrated Powerhead was a project to basically use hydrostatic bearings in the turbopumps. That was done by the Air Force Research Laboratory in the mid-2000s. So, if that makes no sense, like, okay, hydrostatic bearings, integrated, what does that mean? It can spin faster. Literally, how well the rocket works is how fast you can spin your fuel pump. If your fuel pump can't spin faster, you don't deliver as much fuel. So, the integrated powerhead design from the Air Force Research Laboratory has basically integrated. The integrated turbopump is full hydrostatic bearing for fully cryogenic propellants. So liquid methane, liquid oxygen, stuff like that. They spin it like Raptor.
Acquisition signal South Texas.
They have AOS through South Texas, which is pretty cool. That's the tracking station next to Starbase, which is cool. So the where was I? The integrated powerhead demo had turbo pumps that spin at like 60,000 RPM. 60,000, which is insane for a fluid impeller. Like, you could spin a jet engine at 60,000, that's fine. But you gotta remember, these turbo pumps are moving liquids. A liquid is very hard to move with a turbo pump that's going at 60,000 RPM. Why? Well, fluid's incompressible. It's a lot harder to move it. That's why the propellers, like the screws on a ship that floats around in the water, don't really spin very fast, because you just need torque to move it. But if you spin fast with a fluid impeller, you're going to get cavitation. And if it cavitates inside of the turbo pump, you got a big problem. The integrated powerhead demo from the Air Force Research Laboratory basically negated this problem. And SpaceX joined up with the Air Force because Raptor was originally an Air Force research project. So SpaceX said, we could take that turbo pump and build a good engine with that. And the Air Force was like, please do that. And so the Air Force paid SpaceX to start researching Raptor in 2016. That was a big deal at the time. I talked about it for days on Space News, right? And that gave us the Raptor motor. You have a full flow stage combustion cycle, which basically means it atomizes the liquid post impeller. You atomize the liquid fuel and oxidizer and get them to combine in a gas-gas design to make an extremely powerful, extremely efficient engine. And the methane is what really, really kind of drives that home. If you were trying to do that with, I mean, you could do it with Carolox, but if you're trying to put Carolox into a Raptor engine, it would explode. It wouldn't be able to atomize it right. Boss last. All right, Tessa just interrupted. How about this? Something that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I love it. Great. So, Maverick, long story short, is it the same? No, it's completely different. Like a diesel motor to a gasoline engine. Totally different idea here. But yeah, the mechanisms, the cycle mechanisms on Merlin and the cycle mechanisms on Raptor are totally different. Should be coming up on GPS deploy here. It was from the previous topic, okay? Why'd you necro that topic then, Tessa? Are you the type of guy that goes into a forum and finds a post from 5 years ago and then replies like, oh, laugh out loud, I remember this? You're a post necroer, aren't you? Ugh, gross.
Time launch at 7:24
Okay, here
a.m.
we go.
Eastern Time.
Stand by for
followed by
GPS-III
successful
SV06
ascent,
deploy.
Stage separation, first stage landing, and 2 second stage engine burns. We have just one more major milestone coming up, the one everyone's waiting for,
It's a pretty nice shot.
is the deployment of the GPS-III satellite from Falcon 9's second stage, which will happen in just a couple seconds from now.
There we go.
Spacecraft separation confirmed.
And
Decoupler
there
ring
we heard the
separation.
call out, and you can see there on your screen, we have a successful payload deployment.
Sweet.
So with that beautiful view,
That's a
we will bring
decoupler.
our
That's what it looks like
webcast
in real
to a
life.
close. Thank you to the U.S. Space Force for entrusting us with today's GPS-III Space Vehicle 6 mission. SpaceX is one of 2 certified providers for national security space launch missions, and we take great pride in our support of missions like GPS-III 6. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well, Kate. So you guys want a little bit on how a decoupler works here? Check this out. So if you're familiar with V-band clamps on a car, there's basically a clamp here that holds the satellite, right? So the satellite has a separation ring, and that ring is kind of L-shaped, so it goes around like this in an L, right? And then the decoupler is also an L, and the 2 L's are held together like this, and then there's a clamp that holds them together. That clamp is right there. Now, how the decoupler works is basically that clamp that holds them together does this. It cracks on one side and goes like that, and it opens up the decoupler, and then there's springs, literally springs, like they look like valve springs in a car. It's just a little spring that pushes the satellite away. And the reason why I brought it up is because you can actually see the decoupler, that decoupler flange decoupling right there. Watch right here when this satellite separates. You'll see the V-band opens up right there, and then the springs push the satellite away. Wait for it. See? Cool, huh? That's what a decoupler does in real life. And you can see there's that L channel that I was talking about right there. That's the payload attachment ring. The other approved provider being ULA. Precisely. Yep. It's a V-band. AP. It's a V-band. But where the screw is, there's an explosive bolt instead. and the explosive bolt pops and the V-band opens. And then when the V-band opens, there's springs between the flanges and it just pushes it away. That's literally what it is. Like, watch it right there. Freaking V-band clamp. That's all it's not, because decouplers, man, that's a complicated thing, separating a spacecraft. You try to make it as simple as possible. See the V-band open? V-band open, springs decompressed, bye-bye. It is literally that simple. You can't, why make it more complicated than that? There's no point in doing that. Why make something new? Bingo. It doesn't have to be complicated. But anyway, that's GPS-III SV06. Great mission. Good job by SpaceX. Very, very good stuff. But surely hydraulics would be more reliable than an explosive bolt. So, Alleviate, there's a thing about hydraulics in space. Any hydraulic system that finds its way into space has to be pre-bled on the ground because it is impossible to bleed a hydraulic system in microgravity. That is impossible. Not impossible. Anything's possible, right? Like, it's really difficult to bleed a hydraulic system in space. So you got to make sure it works on the ground. Also, honestly, you say, oh, surely it's not as complicated as no, dude, honestly, explosive bolts are one of the most reliable systems ever. It has one moving part. One moving part. It's a primer cap. Dude, all an explosive bolt literally is a bullet inside. Like a shell casing from a bullet with a primer cap inside of a bolt. That's it. That's all it is. One moving part. You send an electrical signal to the primer cap heats up, ignites the explosive, and it pops the bolt. It is idiot-proof. It works every time. Like, it's very rare that explosive bolts don't work. Dude, you say like a hydraulic system would be simpler. No. All you need is a battery, 2 wires, and 2 leads going to the primer cap. It is that simple. It's a bullet. That's all it is. It's a bullet in bolt shape. No, Tessa, I wanted to work on the truck here. What about magnets? Well, how do they work? Well, I mean, you could use electromagnets, Crobe, sure. You could use there have been, like, you know, it's funny because we have a magnetized docking port in Kerbal. NASA has done research into magnetic docking ports. That absolutely does work. But you'd need to use an electromagnet, right? One side of said magnetized docking port would have to be a passive magnet, and the other one would have to be an electromagnet. Or you could have double electromagnets and arm the docking port, and it'll like a neodymium magnet. You could do that, sure. I mean, I don't know if you could do it with a neodymium magnet, but it doesn't matter. You could use an electromagnet, sure. That would do it. But I mean, if you're using electromagnets now you have to keep the connection on. They have to stay magnetized, right? Unless you had like a hook and latch mechanism to passively close the docking port and keep it together, and then you could shut the magnet off, right? That would work. Sure, why not? But you already have the drive hooks that hold it together. Why would you add a magnet into this design? It's an honest question. Why would you do that? A probe and drogue works just fine, and it's less complicated. But that doesn't mean that a magnetized like a passive or a passive like time to wake up. A passive docking system with magnets couldn't work. Of course it could work. But for a decoupler though, you can't replace the simplicity of an explosive bolt, because think about how much power you need to make the primer cap go off in that explosive bolt versus like an electromagnet. An electromagnet that's holding that satellite on the top of the stage. Think about how much more power draw you're going to need to make that work. Screw that. Screw that. The explosive bolt is still cheaper. It's cheaper and it's less. It's cheaper and it's less complicated. See what I'm talking about? Why are we talking about improving something that's already proven to work for decades? Well, John, it's because you know sometimes, like, dude, when people throw these ideas out, I'm not saying there's not an application for it, but tried and true usually is what works in space, you know? Hey, Zero, what's up, man? I'm missing sleep and was not paying attention, and this sounded like the guy video talking a bunch of gibberish. Blah 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 blah. Does that make sense? Speaking of decouplers, do we know what Starship's decoupler between the booster and the upper stage? Now, the funny thing is that you know, Alleviate, you're talking about hydraulic systems. Pneumatic systems work better in space. Pneumatic systems work better in space despite gas being compressible. That would be a better system. That's why, I don't know if you guys, if there's any Trekkies out there. You guys like Star Trek, right? You ever notice the doors? What sound do the doors make? Right? It's because it's a pneumatic door, because pneumatics are easier to use in space. Now, the interesting thing about that is that SpaceX does that. SpaceX has a latching system, and they have a pneumatic decoupler. They have push rods that push the second stage away from the first stage. You can see one of them whenever you watch them stage. It kind of gently pushes on the nozzle. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not they're not only pushing from the nozzle. There's actually 4 pneumatic rods on Falcon 9's first stage. There's one at 12, there's one at 4 o'clock, and there's one at 7 o'clock. So there's 3 on the outsides that push on the aft skirt of Falcon 9's second stage. And then the one that we see is the one in the center. The one in the center kind of guides the stage in a straight line away. It doesn't really push it so much as guide. But they do use pneumatic separation systems for Falcon 9, and they will use that for Starship as well. So from a purely mechanical standpoint, would a permanent magnet opposite an electromagnet work best? You have the magnet provide the locking strength. When you want to connect to release, when you want the connection to release, you use the electric coil to reverse the magnetic polarity of the anchor. I still think that's a few too many parts to not make problems. Pretty much, Blood. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, yeah, the funny thing is that SpaceX uses a pneumatic separation system. Now, here, let's see where people's minds are at. SpaceX is using a pneumatic separation system. So vehicles like Vulcan, Atlas, Delta, they use explosive bolt separators. What's the benefit of using a pneumatic system despite it being more complicated? Why would SpaceX do that? Let's see who's paying attention. Remember, it's all about application. Good. You guys are paying attention. Sweet. It's reusability, right? Replacing an explosive bolt every time, especially with Falcon 9's frequency of flight, is a pain in the butt. And I know what people are saying. What do you mean, replacing an explosive bolt? That takes 2 seconds. OSHA. No. When you place an explosive bolt, you need an EOD team on standby. You need people there that are familiar with explosive ordnance. So the ordnance guys, you can't do parallel processing that way. So basically, I know because I've seen it up close. Dude, the ordnance guys won't even let you use your cell phone near a vehicle that has primed explosive bolts on it. That has explosive bolts that are installed. I know because when I walked into Delta 4's horizontal integration facility in 2018 to see the Parker Solar Probe stack, they wouldn't let us take pictures. They're like, do not use your cell phone in here. You know, it's not anything that, like, you know, it's probably fine, but probably fine is not good. For all you know, you could send a signal and that signal could detonate the explosive bolt. That would probably be bad inside of the hangar. So you want to use explosive bolts now. It is the simplest mechanism, but you need an ordnance team in there. You need guys that are specially trained to install this, and you can't do anything else on the rocket when people are putting explosive bolts on. Don't do anything else. So that's why SpaceX has that pneumatic system, so they can rearm the decoupler, right? And also to process other parts of the vehicle, because using an explosive bolt would probably be simpler, but you want to be able to turn the booster around quickly, so they opted for a pneumatic system. Surprised they didn't get you to hand the phones in. Oh, airplane mode, Wolfie. Airplane mode. Honest question. Explosive bolts versus flight termination system. All of it is exploding, and all of it requires EOD folks on hand, right? I'm sure SpaceX has to deal with first stage retrieval operations. Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly, Zero. There you go. Good conversations, dudes. And people are paying attention, which makes me happy. Sometimes in the back of my mind, I think it feels like I'm talking to nothing. Because, not because chat doesn't engage it or you guys don't understand the source material. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to nothing because I'm sitting in a room talking to a wall. Yeah, sometimes I have kind of a passive thought. I'm like, you sit in this room all day and talk to plastic. What are we talking about? Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Nothing important. Oh. WB57, Loopy. At least that's what it looks like. We're all just plastic to the streamer. You're not real. I've never seen you in person. You're not real. You can't exist. You should have a camera pointed over the entire setup so we get a feel for what it's like to stream. Yeah, it's just screens and lights, dude. Yeah, Grobe. Interesting, right? Your waves in my ears. I'm just a figment of your imagination. Anyway. Yeah, Patoxin, probably. With explosive bolts, is residual thrust a major concern? No. There's no residual thrust. It just pops. We're talking firecracker, not rocket engine, dude. Anyway. Alright, guys. Well, it's 9 in the morning here, and I usually don't go live for another couple hours. What I was thinking is maybe we could start getting ready to, we'll go out into the garage and work on the truck for a little bit. It must be a weird feeling, though. I've seen you for hours and hours, and you have no idea what most of you look like. Hypersonic, that's actually really... Yeah, dude, that's a thing. You know what I look like, and that's all fine and dandy, but yeah, I don't know what a lot of you look like, let alone sound like, right? I mean, Hypersonic, I've talked to you before, right? Like, but something that's really hard to do, this is a very difficult thing to do as a streamer, is put a face to the names on the screen. I gotta remind myself that I'm talking to people. They aren't just, it's really easy to just yell at text on a screen, right? So I got to remind myself of this, like if I'm pissed off about something, that people are trying to talk to me. You know what I mean? And you got to put a face to that name, all right? Like, that is a really, like, I get it. I know I'm not talking to Chat GPT, even though I might be, you know, who knows? I'm sure someone has done that before. People have come in and there's been like an AI that I've been talking to, because some of the questions that certain viewers ask, they're just kind of just weird, right? But, you know, I got to remember that each person that I'm talking to is a person typing on a keyboard. That is a person that you're talking to. So don't be too much of a dick. You know what I mean? Like, Zero's like, I look like Fabio. I mean, is it strong enough to fight against the rocket engines? No. Not even close. Don't assume our personhood. Right. Alright, fine. I'll just pretend you text. I'll just go with what my mind says. That I'm talking to a wall in a room. Frick all of you. I'm a chatbot? Yes, if I didn't meet you, I'd believe it. On the internet, nobody knows you're a cow. Loopy, I've shook your hand, okay? Pretty sure. Just saying. Pretty sure I mean, unless cows somehow have hands now. I mean, maybe. Science and stuff, right? I mean, if you would have fooled me. Nice, Wolfie. There you go. Cows with guns? That's something I don't want. Remember, avoid the meadow. You can have most of the lyric. I always learn something every stream. Often about space, NASA, or Kerbal, but sometimes about cars or engineering or life. I'm glad you get something out of it, Broken. Honestly, that's the best thing I can hear. Seriously. It's the best compliment. Hey, dude, I learned something. I didn't know that. That's really freaking cool. Learning is a drug. I'm not even kidding. The dopamine hit that you get from learning something is very addicting. That's why there's people that are just lifelong, like, students. It's a bad dopamine hit. Like, it is more addicting than, like, social media. Not even kidding. Learning something? Oh, man. Once those neurons fire off up there, it's like, I need to learn more. Would you like to know more? Yes, yes, please. You know? Yeah, that's true, Blood Demon. Yeah. You once mentioned Jocko Willink. Jocko's a lot of good advice, Tom. Keeping your head on an even keel, you know? It's good stuff. I did my part. No, kid, never seen that. I'm sure someone's done it, though, but... Oh, there you go. That's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm aiming for. I'm trying to aim... How I tailor the content is basically Discovery Channel from the mid-2000s. That, like... Or, like, Popular Mechanics magazine from back in the day. Because I'm old enough to come from a time where magazines were still a thing. Yeah, yes, I appreciate that. There you go. Also, on an unrelated note, Vice Grip Garage is good. I fell asleep watching him repair that weird Bricklin thing. Dude, I've ridden in a Bricklin before, Loopy. Yeah, I've ridden in one. My uncle had one. One of 1,700 or 1,300. How many that are left? Yeah. Dude, somewhere somebody has a picture of me in a Bricklin. They're weird, dude. They're weird cars. So, the outside of it is resin acrylic. So, it ends up looking like plexiglass on the outside. Yeah, there you go, J-Speed, right? That's why I come here. I get to learn one of my favorite topics almost every time. Yep. What's a Bricklin? A Bricklin is a Canadian car that was made in the 70s to... Here, I'll show you. Here, let me switch us to just chatting here.